Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Strive Mindset podcast. My name is Luke Sherran, and the Strive Mindset is all about personal and self-development. Whether this is fitness or business or anything else, it's about striving to be better every day and using that Kaizen approach of small, daily, incremental changes towards a bigger goal. Essentially being 1% better every single day. Now, in today's episode, it's going to be another solo podcast. So it's just me, but the response to the first episode was really quite encouraging. There's lots of people that are interested in joining me on this podcast. However, what I've realized is that organizing the times around busy people's schedules, this is what's going to be the limiting factor. So in order to keep momentum going, I thought today, once again, I'll just do another solo podcast just with me, basically. So in this episode, I wanted to talk about fitness, but more specifically, how it's directly tied into business performance. I think many people out there think that these are two completely separate things, but I personally believe they are far more integrated than many people might think. Now, yesterday was the 12th of May, and this is actually quite a significant milestone for me because I set up my business on the 12th of May in 2009. So my business has just turned 9 years old. Now, we haven't really celebrated this, mainly because we've been busy, I think, but also because we've been eyeing up the 10-year milestone, which feels like a really big one. I think a decade in business is certainly something to be proud of. And, we provide good, stable salaries for all of our staff. And it's just something that, again, we're very proud of, really. So in this time, we have seen many businesses come and go. We've seen some start and some fold. Companies that have been going for years, many years longer than we have actually closed their doors. Some have totally surpassed us as well. But the reason I think that we've lasted 9 years, the reason we've lasted as long as we have, it's not because we're pioneers or innovators in our field. We're very good at what we do, but we also can see that we're not necessarily the best. But I believe that our longevity is based on a few things. Number one, it's got to be hard work. When we first set the business up in particular, I was working crazy hours, as was my wife, Sadie, just to get things going, just to build up momentum, just to get, crazy projects finished. But hard work definitely was a big factor. The other thing is that we always are looking to stay ahead and proactively looking at staying ahead as well. So this might be, keeping up with the latest technology, the latest platforms that are out there. Could be design practices. They've changed dramatically since we first set the business up, from being, desktop first to mobile first. Changes to search engine algorithms, changes to social media platforms, and even just refining our own kind of internal processes, just trying to improve those processes every single time so that every project we do is a little bit better than the last one, a little bit more refined, a little bit of an easier run. Now, being able to adapt, this is what I think the third most important thing is. Being able to adapt or change certainly is important, but I think more recently it's not only being able to adapt to change, but actually embracing change as well. I think a lot of people see change as a negative. They have something that works and it works well and it's a really successful business model for them, and then things change and they want to kind of stay with what worked. But I think actually you should embrace change as an opportunity and then identify what things that you can do as a result. So again, coming back to that Kaizen approach, once you start making these incremental changes or daily improvements to one area of your life, like business, you can't help but use that same methodology just across the board. And that's when things become interesting, I think. So how does this all tie into fitness? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory as to why I think it ties into fitness so well. But I just want to point out that We believe in this so much that we've actually created a new scheme for the business. It's called the Fit for Work scheme, which we've been running for about 3 years now. And it's basically where we pay for all of our staff to have gym memberships because we want them to be fit and healthy, and because it has a profound impact on how well they perform in their job, basically. So it's something I really believe in. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory now as to why I think it's so important. Basically, this goes back to just before I set up the business in 2009. And I had gone from working in an agency in Manchester city centre to starting up a new business and spending all my time basically at home. It was a home-based business when I first set up. And because it was a lot of hard work at the beginning, I was working very long hours, 12 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. And the impact of being sat down all that time was huge. I mean, even when I worked in the agency in Manchester, we did long hours, but I would walk quite a distance from where I parked my car to work. At lunchtime, I'd then probably walk somewhere to get lunch. I then walk back to my car. I was probably still getting 10,000 steps in, even though I was working in an agency in Manchester. Whereas when I was working at home, sometimes I didn't even leave the house. There'd be days when I maybe didn't leave the house. So there was a massive drop in activity. As a result of being sat down all the time as well, I'm probably sat really badly. I'm probably sat badly now, actually. If you're watching the video of this, I'm probably not got the best posture. I'm going to adjust how I'm sitting right now. But as a result, I got quite a lot of back pain from it. Upper back and lower back pain, just being slouched all day in a chair. It definitely wasn't good for me. The next big thing was food. So I thought I knew about nutrition to a point because, I'd spent a few years training and, I knew basics about macronutrients and calorie control. But really, when I look back, I had the most rudimentary knowledge of nutrition. And in particular, I didn't have anything to track calories with properly. So nowadays, we've all got things like MyFitnessPal and apps to help us out. I was just guesstimating everything and I wasn't really tracking anything properly. And when I think back on the kind of portion sizes that I had, I was probably eating a lot more than I realized. Probably easily over 500 to 1,000 calories more every single day than I actually realized. On top of that, you'd think that if you were working from home, that you might eat healthier. And to some degree, there was some truth in that. You could make yourself a homemade meal rather than just going to a supermarket and buying a sandwich and things. But I was also snacking constantly. I was surrounded by food and I was just constantly grazing and eating, combined with being sat down all the time. You can kind of tell where this is probably going. And then, of course, as well, there's a lot of stress. A lot of stress with setting up a new business, a lot of concerns over finances and these kinds of things as well. There was just a lot on my mind, which, stress in itself is obviously not very good for you, but also that would impact your sleep as well. And basically, as a result of all of this, what happened was I suddenly realized I was fat. And this came as a bit of a shock to me because it was a very gradual process. I'd gone from being relatively fit and healthy to suddenly fat and looking quite haggard and old. And to be honest, when I looked in the mirror, I didn't really see it. I've got some very flattering lights in my bathroom mirror, and I think that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you only see yourself in a particular way. I don't know, you see like a projected kind of self-image and you see yourself from a particular flattering angle. You know how to stand to make yourself look good. And I think what happened with me was, as a result of this, I didn't think I looked anywhere near as bad as I did. I then saw photographs and I was like, who is that fat guy in the picture? It was quite a shock. Basically, I had a really big fat face and my waistline had certainly taken a turn for the worse. So, as a result of this, that was kind of the kickstart that I needed to start getting fit again and getting back into shape. And just because of the situation in terms of working from home at the time, and I say at the time it was a home-based business, I I decided I wanted to do something that was super convenient. I didn't want to have to lose hours in a day by traveling to a gym. And we decided to try the Beachbody program, P90X, which I have to say, for any negativity around P90X or Beachbody, P90X really worked for myself and my wife. And I think some of the important things about P90X are that, one, it was really convenient for me. It taught me about the importance of consistency. When I had trained previously before, and I trained by myself, I was training maybe 3 or 4 days a week, but it wasn't very structured looking back on it, and it certainly wasn't consistent. And P90X, it was training every single day. You're always trying to beat what you did previously, so you've always got that element of progression and a kind of progressive overload. It was incredibly hard work, but what was really great about it was it taught you this mindset of don't be overwhelmed and see it as a challenge. You've got this guy called Tony Horton shouting at you, and he's telling you, okay, I know it hurts now, but we're going to do it for 30 seconds. You can do anything for 30 seconds. See if you can try and beat what you did previously. And just having that mindset, that positive mindset towards, trying to tackle something that's difficult, that actually has really stuck with me ever since doing P90X. I mean, I don't do P90X anymore. I've done it for a long, long time. But those elements are still stuck with me now. And most importantly, it's kind of like a gateway program, in my opinion. So it gets you fit, it gets you understanding the importance of consistency, and then it moves you on to different things. But anyway, as a result, we did the P90X, we finished it. We were in much better shape, we looked a lot better, but it had a profound impact on our business, on our performance in our business. Few things straight away were, one, I started sleeping a lot better. I think, one, because I was physically tired as well as kind of mentally tired, and it really helped me address some of the stress. It was a good outlet for any stress I had. It made me work a lot better, because what's really interesting is when people think you do a workout or you go to a gym and you use lots of energy, they think, well, you're gonna have less energy for your working life, for your daily life. But actually, for some reason, when you train and you train with a level of intensity, it somehow creates more energy. And I was finding that when I was waking up in the morning, instead of waking up really tired, I was waking up more energized. And it just gave me more energy for everything, not just working, but just more energy in daily life. And probably one of the most important things is that it gave me a lot more mental clarity. Now, this will be to do with cleaning up my nutrition a lot as well. Stopping the snacking, stopping eating sweets, and eating just really basic meals, protein, veggies, and carbs. But it just had a profound effect on the fog, like the brain fog. I just seemed to be able to think a lot better, a lot more clearly. The back pain that I was experiencing from being sat down all day definitely helped. I think just strengthening the muscles in your back definitely helped. I mean, one of the things with P90X is there's a lot of back work, a lot of pull-ups and things, and that just made a lot of the back pain that I had just go, which was really good. And then I think as well, one big thing that comes from being fit, for me at least, is improved confidence. So when I realized how out of shape I had got and how fat I had got, that had a really big impact on me. I no longer kind of wanted to be seen. By most people's standards, I probably wasn't fat at all. I got a bit of body dysmorphia, to be honest. But for me, that was the worst condition I'd ever been in. I felt like I looked really old. I felt like I looked terrible, and I didn't want to be seen. Didn't want to go out. I felt like none of my clothes no longer fit me in a good way. But by being fit again, and looking healthy, and even people saying to me, "Oh, you look good," it gave me this improved confidence. And in business, confidence can be massive towards how it contributes towards your success. If you go to a network meeting, for example, where you're trying to draw up new business and meet new people, make new connections, just having the confidence to be able to go over there and speak to them is one thing. but you can also appear a lot more dynamic, your personality can be a lot more contagious. And again, that goes a long way in business. So, these improvements have recently been highlighted to me again. I mean, I noticed them way back when. This is like in 2009, 2010 now probably. But I've noticed it again recently, and I've alluded to this on my YouTube channel. I haven't actually explained it to anybody. But recently I got injured, and it's set me back a little bit on my training. Basically, I couldn't go to the gym for 8 weeks. I've just started going back to the gym again now. Long story short, I was experiencing some sciatic pain for a while just down my left leg. And I made a classic mistake of self-diagnosing myself using Google and finding what I thought was the most likely cause. Disclaimer, don't ever do this. Just go see a professional. If you've got sciatic pain, get it sorted straight away. It'll save yourself a lot of time. But I believed it was a tight piriformis muscle. And this is a muscle that kind of runs around your hip and your buttocks. And if you spend a lot of time sat down, this muscle can become short and tight and actually press on your sciatic nerve, and it can give you these sciatic nerve pains. So I was doing kind of stretches around this to try and stretch that muscle, kind of loosen it a little bit, and not realizing that I was actually probably wasn't making things worse, but I wasn't addressing what was the real issue. The issue was that I had a bulging disc in my lower vertebrae. Now, your disc is a bit like a balloon, as I understand it, and as it was being compressed on one side, it was causing it to bulge at the back, and it was that bulging that was actually pressing against my sciatic nerve and giving me that pain. So the osteopath that I saw, who came highly recommended, she got me sorted, and within about 2 sessions I was mobile again and no longer in pain, which was the main thing. But I'm still awaiting an x-ray just to have a closer look at what's going on with the discs. So I haven't done any proper training in the gym yet. I'm just doing bodyweight stuff now. I've just started reintroducing it. But what I've noticed within that very short period of time is really quite interesting. Basically, because I wasn't training and I was emotionally eating. I'm an emotional eater. So because I was feeling sad that I couldn't train, I was then eating food like cookies and treats and things that I probably, no, you shouldn't eat anyway, really, especially not in the quantities that I was eating them. And I was just getting overweight again. In fact, I am overweight for me, and just not training and overeating, and it's just brought back to me how I used to be before I started training. And again, I've been experiencing that brain fog, and I've been waking up really tired. And I saw a video of myself, and I was just like, God, I'm piling the pounds back on again. And again, that is just kind of impacting my confidence. And I've just started training again. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that my whole family have been getting involved with it. Because it's been sunny, we've been doing these little circuits outside in the garden. My daughter, who is 5 years old, she's just a natural athlete. And we've been doing burpees and push-ups and sit-ups and all these kinds of things. And even just in this last week, having started integrating some exercise and cleaning up my diet again, the difference is just incredible. And again, the biggest thing for me is it's the energy. I'm waking up with so much more energy, and that ultimately has a huge performance on how well you can perform within your business. So that's probably enough, really. That's probably a good place to start. But basically, I believe that fitness is completely integrated into business performance for lots of reasons. But yeah, I think for me at least, it's something that I'm going to try and do forever. And if I want to do well at business, then I need to keep on track of my fitness as well. So hopefully that resonates with some of you. Hopefully that makes sense. It wasn't just me just waffling on a little bit too much. If you're watching this on YouTube, then don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And thank you everyone very much for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode, where hopefully I'll be joined by one of the many guests that have expressed an interest in being on one of these podcasts, and I will again catch you in the next episode. Thanks.